Hi, I'm Kent Wolfe, and you're watching the final edition of Mediaplex Sports Talk. With me on the panel today is Irma Tremblay and Joseph Elliot, and we will be looking at the top 10 moments in sports that have happened over the last year. So let's get started. Coming at number 10, the Canadians losing the World Juniors. Irma, can you tell us a bit about that?
In 2005, Canada started a trend of winning gold, which stopped in 2011 when they lost a heartbreaker to the United States. 2011, another heartbreak where they lost to Russia. And then this past January, they didn't even make it to the gold medal round, and they won bronze instead. A lot of pressure on these boys, and I guess it's catching up to them.
All right, at number 9, we have the NBA lockout.
Well, the NBA lockout began July 1st and lasted until December 8th. It's just very unfortunate because, players wanted more shares of the revenue, and that deprived fans of seeing their favorite players play, and also cut over a month into their regular season. So hopefully everything's fixed and we don't have another lockout for a couple years.
Coming in at number 8, Sidney Crosby's return to hockey.
Well, after being out for 10 months, it was nice to see number 87 back on the ice. He came back in November, had a 4-point night, but then was sidelined again in December, and he came back in March. And it's good to see one of the best players back on the ice.
At number 7, Prince Fielder's contract signing with the Tigers.
Well, Prince Fielder signed a 9-year, $214 million contract with the Tigers. The news of his signing came just a few days after they lost Victor Martinez to a torn ACL, I believe. It's the 4th highest contract in history for the MLB, and I think he'll add great depth to the roster.
At number 6, increased awareness of concussions in hockey.
Well, it seemed that this season, every time you looked around, somebody had a concussion. Crosby, Claude Giroux, and then somebody like Chris Pronger, who was out for the entire season. It's just a scary thing to look at because these are their brains being hurt.
Starting off our top 5, we have the New York Giants winning the Super Bowl.
The Giants went into the Super Bowl a huge underdog. They beat the Pats 21-17. The game was very exciting until the last few minutes of the game. Mario Manningham had a couple really great catches. Eli Manning won the MVP again, which is well-deserved. He threw great all year, and I think the Giants will be one of those dynasty teams now.
Our number 4 pick is Steven Stamkos scoring his 60th goal.
It's just scary good how good Stamkos is at just 22 years old. He's already an NHL superstar, and he's on his way to become an NHL legend very soon.
Number 3 is Justin Verlander winning both the MVP and Cy Young awards.
Well, for a young pitcher, Justin Verlander has had an amazing couple of seasons. Last season, he had 24 wins. He had an ERA of 2.4. He pitched his second no-hitter last May, as well as a few games where it looked like he could go a full 9 innings with no hits. He won the MVP and Cy Young, which is the first time in a very long time that a pitcher has won both awards.
Number 2, the New Orleans Saints scandal.
New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton, as well as their defensive line coach, were both suspended. Payton getting a full year and their defensive line coach getting an indefinite suspension, all because they were intentionally putting out hits on other players. They were paying their defensive line with bonuses, giving them extra money to take out other players from the game. So it's really unfortunate that this happened. I think it's brought light to the situation, and I think that they gave them such suspensions just to teach other teams a lesson that this is not going to be tolerated.
And finally, the most memorable moment in sports in the last year. The Toronto Maple Leafs apologized to their fans.
There are a lot of people who say that this isn't a big moment, that, something like the Super Bowl needs to be number 1, or there were so many other big moments. But this is something that happens once in a blue moon. It's something that is so rare to happen. They very publicly stated that they were sorry for not making the playoffs for the 7th year. They took out a full-page ad in the paper, had a press conference, and I think that was pretty huge.
Yeah, fans were expecting so much more from the Leafs this year, and they got nothing in return. Like players like Shen and like Phaneuf, they should have been on their A game, and they were not.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in September.